How you doing tonight? I'm doing all right. It's Friday, y'all. Another week done in 2020, right? It's another Friday night in 2020. Oh, Lord, y'all. Look, I feel like every time we make it, with another time when I come on here and we're like all able to chat and see what's going on, it's kind of amazing to me because of the way things have been this year. It's just kind of crazy. Sorry, guys, I'm adjusting this anyway. But yes, it's kind of crazy. You see, I don't have my glasses on tonight. I have a bad habit when I'm recording, trying to watch the comments and everything. So I took my glasses off so then maybe I won't be looking at that down in the comments. So we're going to try this and see how it works. So anyway, how y'all doing? It's Friday. Thank goodness, right? So I'm tired, guys. And I saw my cardiologist yesterday. Um, let's see, everything is good. Everything looks good. Everything's good. I see them every 6 months. So twice a year. I've saw them since my heart attack in 2016. So I see them every 6 months. And I take 4 different meds every day for my heart. So yeah, that's that. But everything is good, right? So that's a good thing. Thank goodness. So, more people are tested positive for COVID. So, of course, more of us know more. Aren't the people, some of the people testing positive, we personally know. I mean, what did you think? The numbers were going to increase and you weren't going to know anybody? I mean, it doesn't mean that it's getting worse. What it means is that more people are being tested. So it can be somebody you know. Also, they're requiring tests for certain jobs, right? There are a lot of people that are still working that are having to work through this the whole time. They haven't had a day off. Like they're still working 40 plus hours a week, 80 plus hours every 2 weeks because they have been required to work like that. They're essential personnel. So, but they are getting tested even though they're asymptomatic and they're showing positive. So the testing, what Ron DeSantis is saying in regards to the testing increasing, he's not wrong in that. That's not the whole picture, but that is a big part of the picture. So more people are being, tested. And so some people at their jobs where they are required to be tested, for instance, if Julian is exposed, then he has to be tested as per his job. So when that's a test number, right? Plus, at any point, that thing could come back positive. We don't know, especially if he's asymptomatic, right? Because the only way you go and volunteer to get tested, really, you're most of the time is because you have some symptoms. So, we'll see what's going on with it. But yes, more people that you personally know will probably come up positive. Hey, Tanya. More people will probably come up positive, and more people that you may know are closer to your knowledge ability, right? Will be positive because more people are being tested. It's just what it is. All I can say is continue to use common sense. Be smart. Make sure you're, washing your hands. Make sure you're social distancing from those you don't live with. Maintain 6 feet. Be mindful of who you're around. I mean, we've been exposed to COVID like I don't know how many times, but knowing officially notified like 3 or 4 different times. And I haven't left the house. If one person here gets it, we're in trouble. And it's not anything us or anyone else is doing. And I honestly feel like making COVID results public knowledge. Put that on the DOE website, who's been tested so that we know. I mean, I don't see the problem with that, honestly. It's not like this is permanent or lifelong, but you need to know who's tested positive or who's been tested so that you have an idea of what's going on. And then if you notify everyone as to who's positive, then people can react accordingly and they can get tested if they feel the need. I mean, but if you're not symptomatic, are you contagious? I wonder. I mean, you could be, but you could not be too. So if you're asymptomatic, are you contagious? Or are you only contagious if you have a fever? Because we know, medically speaking, that when your temperature increases, it's because your body recognizes something abnormal and it's trying to kill it off. That's why our temperature often goes up over 100 degrees. So is that a requirement in order for it to be high enough in your system for you to pass it? If that's the case, then that's an easy fix. We just start checking temperatures, right? Everywhere you go, if you got to go 3 or 4 places that day, everywhere you go, you get a temperature check. But the thing is, guys, and this is what I've been saying from the beginning, there is not enough information. Even if you track the official stuff of COVID back to China, back over wherever it started, wherever it originated from, correct? Even if you go back that far to that data, you have less than a year's worth of information. Less than a year worth of data on any scientific thing is really not any data. So we're under a year. So let's get some more information. But in the meantime, let's just be smart. If you're going to go get a facial, a pedicure, you can't wear a mask and get a facial, right? So the esthetician will wear a facial. You can't be 6 feet apart and wear gloves. So make sure you're putting up the plexiglass or whatever you want to do, right? But if you're only contagious if you have a fever, then if you take every single temperature of every person that comes in to work, you take their temperatures after their lunch break, you make that a requirement, then that could be a way to kind of control it, right? To kind of see what it's doing. But we don't know that, right? There are people that don't necessarily run fevers with the flu or don't run temperatures with other things. So it's not, I don't know that is, but I'm just saying, what if that's the only time it's contagious? Like chickenpox, right? Chickenpox are only contagious, they said, while you're running a temperature. Once your fever breaks, it's no longer contagious. That's when it starts to dry up, right? So what if this virus is similar to that? I'm sure they're running tests on it, but what if? We don't know. But we do know that washing your hands with bacterial or antibacterial, with regular soap or antibacterial soap, that is not what matters. What matters is that you are using, because antibacterial soap only works on bacteria. COVID-19 is a virus. Duh. So the hand sanitizer is good because of the alcohol. It kills all viruses as well. But for soap, the important part is that you are washing all the surfaces, wrist down, all the surfaces on your hands for 20 seconds. That's what's important, right? 20 seconds. Now, if you are someone who has a child like mine, like Zane, who does not like soap on his hands, we still bathe Zane. He is getting better with it, but he doesn't like the soap, the sudsy bubbles. on his hands. So we have to use the gel sanitizer. We don't use the foam sanitizer. He looks at that a lot differently, you know. And so anyway, we haven't found a soap that don't soap up. If you have any ideas out there, please send it to us. We will try it, but we haven't found any. So to get Zane to actually wash his hands for 20 seconds is challenging. It is challenging. It has been his entire life. So what we generally do is soap, right, and get him to wash as long as I can get him to, because there's nothing better than that rigorous washing of your hands, the friction of rubbing your hands together. There's nothing better than that. So any amount of time I can get of him from that, then we use hand sanitizer after, right? So we double whammy it. But that is what we have to do. But so if you have someone like Zane that you can't get them to wash for 20 seconds, but listen, washing your hands for 20 seconds with soap and water are key. Washing them correctly is even more important. I think I'm going to do a video on how to wash your hands correctly during COVID, right? Because we have this whole idea of these songs and all of this, and that just, honestly, that never helped me. That idea of that, even when I was training to be a corpsman, right, which was my first medical experience in 1995, I didn't learn to wash my hands based off of a song. I learned how to wash my hands based off of a routine, a rhythm, right? That I learned. And ever since then, that's just how I wash my hands. It's also how I taught my children. So that's just what it is. So I think I'm going to do a video. I'll post it. I'll let you guys know when I post it. But yeah, it's about that. That is what is important. That hand washing, the touching stuff. Listen, if you're going in the grocery store, listen, I understand. I am a shopper. I am a consumer. I understand. So I understand that when we're out and we're shopping, right, that sometimes you pick something up. Maybe you need to check the ingredients. Maybe you need to make sure an ingredient's not in it because of allergies or whatever. So you've got to touch stuff, right? For those things, I encourage you to get the hand sanitizer, forget the hand sanitizer. Forget gloves. Gloves are not helpful, people. They're not, unless you're doing one thing consistently. But if you're moving around, just use your bare hands. Because listen, if you're going to do what the next thing I'm going to say, whether you have gloves on or your hands, you're going to do it anyway. The problem with your hands is touching your face or touching your arm or touching anything, touching your hair. Maybe your head is itching. Maybe you have to grab one of your kids. That is where the contact becomes an issue, right? So what you have to do, when we go in the store, I do everything in me not to touch anything. So you may see me in the store and listen, I may look like I'm going through anti-theft rehab, right? Because I have my hands like this. I have my hands down in front of me. I put my hands in my pocket. I keep them like this in front of me. Look, y'all. I be like this in the store, just walking around like this, because I don't like this right here, hands, just because I don't want to touch nothing. To remind myself not, because I be quick to want to pick up something and smell it. So I'm retraining myself to this new normal, right? That's for everyone. Sorry for the boob scratch, but hey, it happens. So I had to be mindful of that, so I don't touch anything. But if you do have to touch or look, because I'm sure there's going to be a time, and I have caught myself touching stuff in the store before. So like, if I say I did touch something, right? Like I wanted to see an ingredient in whatever, some coconut oil. So I pick it up to look at it, right? when I put it back because I don't want it. I have to purposely remind myself throughout the rest of the store or the area until I get to hand sanitizer, or I have even taken myself to the restroom in the store that we're in if I'm close by, and I wash my hands. But I also carry a pocket sanitizer, right? So if you want to, you can get these real cheap, or you can get the refillable ones from like Bed Bath. Oh, no. Bath and Body Works. And I think Victoria's, everybody got some, right? So, but the little ones, excuse me, that you can put on your keys. And listen, if you have your keys, well, you can leave them in the car. That's a great idea. Leave your keys in your car. Use your code to get in your truck, in your vehicle, and then automatically clean your hands with a hand sanitizer before you ever touch your keys and put them in the ignition. But you can carry this hand sanitizer and you can use it like if you have to touch something right away. That is a good fix. It's a good way to clean your hands. But when you use the hand sanitizer, listen, people, make sure you're rubbing it vigorously, right? I'm going to do a video for this too. Vigorously, right? On your hands with the hand sanitizer. One squirt, that's all you need. You don't need an extra lot. You don't need it dripping off of your hands. That's too much. And a lot of times that's why it is over drying your hands as well. So you use it, you put it on, but you have to, and then you have to let it dry. Doing this, listen, people, if anybody around you had COVID, fanning is something in medicine we never do. You never fan anything. I don't care what is going on. You don't fan it. I don't even like to fan myself when I'm hot like this, guys, because fanning spreads germs of all kinds. You don't do that, right? So you just let your hands dry. You don't wipe the excess off. You let it dry. Allowing it to dry is part of the killing process for the germs that are on your hands. So that's, we have to be mindful of that in our hands. Then the next thing, you don't have to touch everything. You just don't have to. But look, I suggest you get your tape measure, right? Because trying on clothes, I don't know about y'all, but I will not be trying on nothing. But I'm losing weight. Like I went from a size 13 panties. I'm now in a size 9. I was a big girl. Well, 13 is like the Walmart size. Y'all know, like Hanes and stuff, like the boys' shorts. I was a 13. Or a 2X, right? And then in like Lane Bryant or whatever, I was a 2X, right? Now I'm a 16, 18. 18, 20, some of them, right? They still fit. But anyway, that's irrelevant, y'all. But, so what you need to do is get you a tape measure so that you can measure your bust, your shoulders, depending on what you're buying, you're going to want different measurements. But most people, if you put those measurements in, can tell you what that size would be in the U.S. Also, you got an online shop. Make sure you're buying a type of clothing that you already have that fits you, right? If you find a shirt that you like, look, ain't nobody making no fashion statements right now. Y'all better get your life whole together, because look, and nobody making no fashion statements right now. What we doing right now is surviving. You understand? We're living our best life. We enjoying our time with our families. We are learning a new normal, right? That whole you can't teach an old dog new tricks, that's a lie, because we all learning a whole new normal, but it's not as complicated as people are making it. It's not as, it's either A or B. as people are making it. It's not black and white. This really is a gray area because we as Americans have rights. Just like how we are fighting against systemic racism and people are beginning to open their eyes and realize that this is really happening. You know, it may not be some of the ideas or ways it's going, you know, they're just distractions. I agree. However, it is a real issue. And the thing is that things are becoming more, there's more discussion. There's more talk of things. That is the truth. That is what social media has given us, is there is more talk of things. People are having more conversations. People are able to say what they used to. They could just think. They can actually go to typing. They can put that on their Instagram. They can put it on their Facebook. They can put it on Twitter or whatever else they have, right? You can go live and just talk about whatever you want to, whatever it is you believe. You're able to just go live, and other people that agree with you and touch and agree and believe or think what you think, listen, they're able to watch it if they want to, because maybe they don't find you in the first year, right? But if you are consistent and you're consistently putting information out there, you're consistently putting, you know, stuff out there, people are going to find you. They're going to follow you. They're going to like it. Some are going to hate it. They're going to hate you, but it's okay. But if you're consistent with it, but we have to make sure we are protecting ourselves and using sense when it comes to what we're doing for our families in this time with COVID. So washing your hands is the biggest, is such a big thing. When you cannot social distance, listen, y'all, listen. The World Health Organization and CDC do not agree on everything. Or these people that are studying stuff or whatever. There are so many different things out there because there's so limited data. It's going to be all over the place. But there are some things that they all do agree on. And those are the things that I feel like we can implement that will help all of us in our new normal. So washing hands and hand sanitizer more regularly are very important. Changing your clothing if you're able to. Change your clothing. Don't, you know, when you've been out all day, don't come in from work and lay on your bed or your couch. I know that's aggravating. I always had a rule of that anyway, especially being in the medical field. When I came home, I always changed my clothes. But I showered and changed. You know, most people in the medical field, they have like their little quirks. But for those of you who aren't in the medical field, when you come home from work, right, maybe you have an office job. Whoever came home from an office job, maybe you have your own business and you work from home. But listen, if you've had any interaction with anyone, change your clothes. It's that easy, right? When you're coming back in your house, maybe you had a business meeting. Maybe you met with a politician, right? It's election cycle. So maybe whatever, maybe you hung out. Make sure you're mindful of those little things. Also, outdoor stuff. I don't know what that looks like, right? Because I don't know what can you do outside, especially here in Florida. It's hot, y'all. But the one thing Florida always has year round is humidity. But our numbers is going up, right? So what that mean? Everybody got to work from home and outside. I'm just saying, but if that's the new normal and that's what needs to happen, then let's guess what? Let's get the people home. Right? Let's get the people home so that we can be healthier. Let's figure out ways to do outdoor activities. We just have to get creative. All of this stuff, and we have someone created it, right? We all learned how to use electronic medical records or these operating systems for Google or for Android or the operating systems for Apple. We all learn these things, and every time we learn something new. So listen, We can all learn new things, new ways, new habits. But we definitely have to make some things habits. Also, guys, I know this isn't very popular, but the truth is, our eating habits and exercising, we need to become healthier. That alone will help us fight the virus. Is it 100% guarantee? No, nothing. We don't have enough data. But I guarantee you, eating healthier, exercising will improve anyone's quality of life. Anyone. So, hey, it's worth a try, right? So, I encourage you guys to just think about things like that. I'm going to do the videos about what we do with Zane, with his hand washing, right? For those parents with children like Zane who have sensory or maybe they're ADHD, so they can't take, trying to get them to be still for 20 seconds is a challenge of its own. Trying to get them to remember to do it after every bathroom, every is a challenge, right? So, and you're in public, you try to think of these things, because the truth is, guys, our children cannot be in a bubble or in the house. They've got to start going back to the playground. They have to start, and I don't know how all of this looks. I do know that we have to begin to live our lives and um, teach our children the new normal. But we can't tell everybody they have to wear a mask either. That's against their rights. You can't make everyone wear a mask. You just can't. But people still need to earn a living. So the people that do pedicures and do nails, estheticians, listen, that may mean you have to wear a mask while you're at work. But hey, if you can make a living that way, then good. Maybe some people are more comfortable that way. But listen, people, if they're your esthetician, right, or your barber, your salon, listen, guys, is especially if they've been through the training, they actually are licensed and certified, right? I think it's just licensing that they get for estheticians and cosmetology. But anyway, if they have the licensure current, listen, they know how to sanitize and be clean. Now, that doesn't mean that all of them are, because, I mean, people get nail funguses, and you've seen men get wingworm from the barbershops. That happens, right? So we know that there are those that do not. But most of us have our people. Like Emily is my esthetician, period. At Smooth Addiction here in Stark. That's who I use. That's who Larice uses. That she is our esthetician. We go to her for waxing, for facials, different things. So the men, Zane, Javier, Julian, Jonathan, all go to Rodney. At Picture Perfect. That's where they all get their haircuts. I mean, Summer gets her hair braided, she goes to Dawn, but I go to see Ron, but we see these people on a regular basis, so we trust them to be honest with us about the situation, right? And that's my thing. Be honest with people. Listen, if you don't feel good, tell people you don't feel good. Don't just go to an event talking about you're going to wear a mask. Listen, if you don't feel good, stay home. I don't care if you do think it's allergies. Stay home. Listen, getting a plate or getting some crabs or getting, listen, y'all hear me. Getting a plate of food, getting some crabs and some sides and some shrimp, getting your hair cut, getting a pedicure. Listen, you can wait 14 days. If you don't feel good, stay home. If you absolutely have to go out and the only need to go out is for food, which you should make one trip. Listen, you can eat frozen food or freeze what you're cooking, freeze what you want to eat if you're a health nut. You can get enough food for 14 days. If you're not feeling good, you're probably doing chicken noodle soup most days anyways if you don't have any family or any way to get out. Listen, you got to take one for the team right now because we don't know enough. But use your common sense. Be courteous. Stay home if you don't feel good. Keep your kids home. Exactly, Tanya, because they do not listen. But listen, if you don't feel, I don't care if you have allergies. Right now, we living in a season of uncertainty. If you don't feel good, stay home. If your head hurt, stay home. Don't go to them people's job, even if you put a mask on. Stay home. That's how we protect each other and other people. But y'all, we got to be better. We got to do better. But I just wanted to come on here and chat with you guys. But I'm going to get those videos up about washing your hands for the adults, for the correct way and how I do it and how I teach my family and what I do with Zane as well. I'm going to put the video up so you can see. I'm also going to put up a video of the correct way to use hand sanitizer. Because people, I don't know what I'm looking at, but it's crazy. But listen, if you keep your hands down and don't put your hands on your face touching stuff, you'll be all right. Listen, we go out to the grocery store, hand sanitize your hands. Get the bags, put them in. Hand sanitize your hands again. Then get in your car. Yes, I know that's extra steps, but guess what? We don't get nor spread COVID that way. Nor strep throat, nor cold, nor the flu. Man, we stop spreading a whole lot of stuff if we start being that mindful of what our hands are doing. And like I said, we've got to figure out a way to do outside activities, outdoor workouts, right? I don't know, just ways to do things outdoors. I don't know what the answer is, guys. Y'all know I'm not creative when it comes to stuff like that, but we got to figure out a way to get it outside. And we have to figure out a way, we have to teach our kids because, listen, even if you choose not to send your kids back to school in the fall, you still owe your children social outings, right? Your kids cannot just stay in the house. And for some of our children, masks aren't an option. We're trying to figure out a way or a mask that works for Zane, right? That he will wear because Zane has to go out of the house for therapy. But we got to figure out a mask that he can wear for when we do go out because masks are only good for so long, guys. Can't wear them all day, every day, and it work. It's just not, that just is not going to work. But who knows? We're going to figure it out, though. But we all have to be, if every family does what's best for them, then we can really begin to make, or community, it's not really about family. If every community begins to do what's best for that community, then I think we can really begin to affect change on a grander scale. So we'll see what happens. But you guys have a good weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday. Good night.